Today we're up to the session about what to teach. Last week we started on the whole school planning stuff. Here's where I'm hoping the day or the morning will go for us. We'll do some feedback on what you've done between last time we met and this time. Then we're actually going to get down and have a look at planning and the planning documents that your school may or may not use and what might be important to put in those planning documents. And you're going to have a bit of a go at seeing is it as easy as it looks. And then after lunch, the expectation is that you return to school, or if you're lucky, your principal lets you go together somewhere and get on with thinking about what will you do with the information that you gained from this morning. Okay. This is what I'm hoping we'll achieve during this session. First and foremost, I want us to share what has happened in your school since you've hopefully had some discussions about what we talked about last time. We're going to revisit the main points, which would be good for those people who weren't in the session last week, last fortnight. We're going to try and make sense of what should we be thinking about when we're putting a planner together, about what to teach, when and why. There's a whole lot of when, what, why, how, who and where in this planning stuff, that's for sure. We're going to have a look at vowels to see if that's an enormous help to us when we're planning. Hopefully it is. And we're going to have a look at some resources and templates again. Now, for the next bit of the session, I want us to hear from each other the conversations you've had back at your school, the reactions you've had from the people that you've had conversations about with regard to planning, where you had those conversations. Some of you, like I said last week, are in a position where you perhaps get to talk to management about how whole school planning might take place. Some of you may have just gone back and talked to your team. Some of you might have talked to the teacher that you team teach with. I'm not sure. You're all in different places and you all have access to different levels in the school system. But what's important is when you went back and talked to people about the conversations we had last time we were together, how did that sit with people and what was some of the feedback that happened? Did any documents begin to be generated out of that? Did you make some decisions as a staff about what are the non-negotiables? I really want us to get down to the nitty-gritty. Some people may have not had those conversations at all. It's important for them to hear what happened to you when you had the conversations so that they can be forewarned about what might fall out when they're doing that back in their school whenever that time comes. Because I remember last time we were together there were some discussions about some schools are here because they're interested in numeracy but their focus is actually literacy at the moment, so they may not have had the conversation, although I follow up with a lot of that stuff about non-negotiables and guiding principles really washes over all areas of the curriculum, not just numeracy. Now, in order for us to share really well, it's not appropriate for you to talk to the people from your school. They probably already know what you did. You told them about it at morning tea, or they were the person that you talked to. So we're going to have to mix it up. So I'm going to ask you, without me going around and pairing you up and make you do like that animal noise game where everyone has to find the matching chook or something. I don't want us to have to do that. I'm going to rely on you to find somebody that you don't know very well, maybe you don't know at all, and I would like you in pairs. In pairs, it may have to be threes if there are a number of people who haven't even begun the conversations. Although even if you haven't begun the conversation, it's interesting to find out why you haven't and what you might do, what your plan is. I want you to find one or two people that you don't know and sit together for, I'll put it up there, I think it's about 5 minutes. One of you tell what you did, what the reaction was from that, table any documents that might have fallen out of it, and then reverse the situation and the other person tell what they did. Now, in the doing of that, I want you to be focusing on, if you were to share with all of us, which we're going to a bit further down, this morning, if you were to share with us a pearl that fell out of that, and it may be a black pearl in that whatever you do, don't do what I did because it was dreadful, but it might be a white pearl, like this is fantastic. You know, when I showed the people, they all said, oh, that hallelujah that you've, you know, been to that training and we all want to do that. What kind of thing, two things maybe, fell out of your conversations that would advance all of our knowledge if we're going to continue on this path with helping our schools get into the planning mode? Okay, so you're going to, first of all, do you remember the letter you have to push in order to do this? B. Okay, so first of all, in pairs or threes, 5 minutes apiece to tell what happened when you had that conversation, who you had the conversation with, and at the same time you're going to be thinking about what are the pearls that you might share with us later on. Is that clear? Okay, please make sure you mix it up, otherwise it's a waste of time. Nobody's moving. Does that mean everyone's sitting with somebody that they don't know? Unlikely. That's good, we have a movement. Hear what somebody else did that's a success. Can I ask you now to have a bit of a think about the things that you heard and the things that you said, and pick at least one thing that you think is probably the most poignant thing that you did at your school since last we met, that you shared with somebody else. And I want you now to be in the big groups that you're at, because we've had at least 2 groups talking per table. Can you all share as a table group now, but not everything you did, but the thing, one thing each that you know the rest of the group would benefit from hearing about that. We're trying to progress our knowledge about whole school planning. Some people may not have started the journey, some people have. Some people have white pearls to share, some people will have black pearls. Pick at least one thing, you may have 2 that have, you know, like, wow, everyone should know that before they step off. And share that as a group. And I'm going to give you a maximum of 10 minutes again to share as a group. And then I'm going to ask each table group to select a couple of things from around the room that we can all hear, the outstanding, brilliant stuff that all of us would like to share. Okay, so share as a table group now, just the outstanding things from the groups. Some very good conversation again. I love some black pearls and some white pearls. Isn't that shows my lack of understanding about jewellery, which is why people give me plastic jewellery rather than real jewellery, because I think black pearls are probably worth more than white pearls, are they? Anyway, can I have some fantastically fabulous things that have shown up at tables around the room, just randomly please. Someone who's got something that happened or that didn't happen that we would all benefit from hearing about at their school, the way that they approached.